Welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. This is my daily 2-card reading for Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. I think one of these days this time I wanted to say 2023, which I think is the first day I almost said the date wrong, and maybe I've done it and I just haven't paid attention. But 313, it's kind of one of those wonderful dates. I connect with it on a personal level, and I just like numbers, and so I like it. 313. So we are working today with the Urban Crow Oracle by MJ Cullinane. This is the last day that we'll be working with this deck, and this is the second time that we've worked with this deck in my Oracle card readings on this channel. I've had this deck for quite a long time. I love it, and I connect with it in many, many ways. And I wanted to use it again, and at the beginning of the week, the day before I did this first reading last Thursday, I started seeing crows. They were popping up. There was one the day before, and then there was two the day before that. And so definitely, I think crows are messengers. I think they're very much connected to the liminal spaces, which I truly connect to with this channel. I mean, I really think that that is where messages come to us from spirit when we are in the liminal space. Doorways, gateways, pathways. Those are all places where we're branching out and we have the potential to get a message or to do something new. Dusk and dawn, those are two other beautiful liminal times during the day. They might not be much fun to drive through, but they're wonderful to stand out in the yard and enjoy nature in, or just watch the way the light changes across the sky as the sun sets or the sun rises. That's beautiful. So when I started doing these readings, this was the first deck that I worked with, also because I had been seeing crows. I felt very strongly guided to it, and so I knew I wanted to use it again, and it's a beautiful one. And MJ says this in her guidebook about this deck. She just says, fly through the veil, knowing you have the support and protection of the world's most mystical bird. And I do think crows are messengers. Ravens are as well, but crows definitely are. So I'm going to continue doing this, my 2-card readings as I have been doing, where I look at the energy and focus of the day. The energy is the force that's directed towards us from the universe, from our environment. I just like to spread these cards out and let you guys see them. I know I keep doing that, but I just can't help it. I just think it's so pretty. Well, it was nice until I mucked it up there. But anyway, it's a gorgeous deck. Her artwork on the back is just as pretty as the deck on the front. So anyway, gorgeous cards. That the energy is the force that's directed towards us from the universe, or the messages that come to us from our spirit guides and guardians, our inner self, our soul, our divine creator, Mother Earth, however you want to think of that, our divine creator. If you want to call that God, divine creator, divine mother, universe, the word doesn't matter. The energy is what's important, as far as I'm concerned. And this is our time to connect with that energy. And then the other thing I look at is the focus, which is the intention, the effort, or the response of the day, which is our part to play here. We are co-creating with spirit. So spirit gives us something, and then we have a choice in how we respond or react or what we do. And that's a beautiful blessing that we get to work. Oh, that was a bad shuffle on my part. That we get to work with spirit in this way to help make our lives better, to make other people's lives better, to make our world better for us all. So that is a blessing. So I do want to say that before I start any of these readings, I open a circle of light and love and protection around myself. And that extends to you, anyone who's watching these readings, no matter when that's going to be. It doesn't matter if it's the date on the timestamp or not. I believe that when you watch the video and the reading, that there's a message for you there. Something that you were meant to see, even if it's 3 years from now. I truly believe that. And I believe that spirit comes to us in multiple ways, in multiple avenues, and that oracle cards and tarot cards are one of those beautiful ways for us to get these messages. So, all right. Let us look at this on our Wednesday, our last day that we're working with this deck. I'm not sure what deck I'm using for this next week, but, you know, when we start those readings, that's really the transition of the seasons, where we move from this, you know, season of Imbolc that we're in into Ostara season, but also it's the spring equinox, and lots of things change there. In the Northern Hemisphere, the days are equal to the nights, and then get longer. So we're moving into the season of light. So here we go. Energy of the day. And then the focus card we have for this Wednesday. All right. So far, we have only had one repeat card. And really, we haven't had, I don't think, any cards that showed up in our first week of readings. I don't think so, which is always interesting. One of the reasons I like to work with these cards for multiple days in a row, and for these card readings on this channel, I chose a deck for a week at a time, is because we can get kind of an interesting pattern or line of messages from Spirit through the deck. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I always find duplicate cards or repeat cards interesting, because that's something trying to get our attention. It's like, pay attention. So let us look at the energy of the day. We have distance. Now, it's funny that I should just say that, because this card did come up for us earlier in the week, but distance was part of our, no, I think it was an energy as well. Yeah, I think it was. I think it came up with perspective. Anyway, that was a couple days ago, and I'm not organized, so I'm not writing these things down, but we have the energy of distance. But again, what this card is telling me is if we step back, we can see the world in a whole different way than we did before. And that is a very important thing to remember. If you're right in the middle of what's going on in one of these houses, then you're not paying attention to any of these other things. But this crow is way back here. He's moved way back. And so he's seeing the energy of all of these houses, even the forest. He's seeing the horizon with the sun rising or setting, whichever it might be. So distance is very important in our perspective on life. So let's read what MJ has wrote about the distance card. I do like to read from the guidebooks, because I think what the authors write in correlation to the cards that they've created is very important, and really part of the message that we're supposed to be getting. So, direction. Each evening around dusk, hundreds of crows fly over my apartment on their way to their evening roost in Bothell. They are not distracted by the sights or sounds of the city. The crows are focused on one direction. When you know where you are going, it's easier to stay on the path. Direction. Oh, I'm reading. That's interesting. I'm completely reading the wrong card here. I'm like, this doesn't sound familiar. Distance. To get the lay of the land, sometimes you need to take a look from a distance. Distance indicates that you would be best served by taking a step back so that you can see the big picture. You may be focusing too tightly on one thing while there is a whole world out there to explore. Well, that makes more sense. I'm sorry about the D's. I blame that on my dyslexia a little bit. But anyway, this makes more sense and fits the card. Because it's the right thing. I apologize for that. Anyways, so we know that we need to step back sometimes and take a look at the much bigger picture in the world. And the world is uncomfortable right now. All over the world, things are changing, they're shifting, people are unhappy, or they're making different ways forward in life. They're changing their path, and so that makes other people uncomfortable or jealous or intrigued. So there's lots of that going on. So it's good to take a step back, look at the world with distance, and see what's going on out there. Now let's look at our energy, or our focus card for the day, and we have abundance. And this is a beautiful card. Anytime abundance comes up in any of these cards, I feel blessed. So if we look back at the world with a greater perspective and we take some distance from what we're deep, if we step back with distance, we're not as focused on the little minute things, and maybe we can realize the abundance that we have in life. You know, maybe not everybody has won the Powerball, and I think sometimes that's what we think about abundance, is like, I'm going to win the lottery, or I'm never going to have to worry about paying a bill again. But really, sometimes what we have for abundance that's important isn't money at all. Do we have enough food on our shelves? Do we have enough love in our life? Do we have enough friends to make things feel complete? Abundance comes to us in multiple ways. Now these crows are just totally happy. They've got all these fish. It's just like laying out there, and everything is there for them to grab. And they probably feel like they did win the Powerball of fish. So and I'm sure that they are overjoyed with this abundance. So let's look at what she says for this card. Like the crows who know, the cannery is a source for a steady and easy meal. There is a place where you too will find abundance. Focus your energy and attention on not what you lack, but what you know is out there waiting for you, which ties to the distance. Abundance in the sun out there waiting for you. Sorry, I got distracted. Focus your energy and attention on not what you lack, but on what you know is out there waiting for you, and your intuition will be your guide. The crows who reside on the other side of the bay may not see the cannery exist just a short distance away, yet there it is. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Because here our energy is distance, and it's really telling us to step back and look at the world in a different way. And here we have the crows at the cannery who are having this abundant feast of fish, but there are crows blocks away that don't know about this. And so by them not broadening their perspective, by widening the distance that they look out at the world, they're missing this. So I think this is a beautiful message from the Urban Crow Oracle about our perspective, how we look at the world, and if we take a step back, we might realize that we can see the world differently and find a path to ourselves, a path that leads us to abundance, or find out that we already have a great deal of abundance that we did not realize. But the idea here is our perspective. Look at the world differently. Look at it from a different angle. Look at it from much farther back, and you will be gifted with abundance. That's what I believe. You might see that you have abundance already, or you might step back enough to see, like, well, if I take that job over there, or if I drive down that street, or if I go to that grocery store, I might find more abundance for myself. So I think this is a beautiful day. I think this is a beautiful reading, and I'm really grateful that this is how this Urban Crow Oracle is ending this visit with us. So I hope you have found these readings helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. I would love to hear what you think about this deck in general, or any of MJ Cullinane's decks. She's got multiple decks. You can sure check her out. She's got multiple Oracle decks. She's got multiple tarot decks. She's got a new Oracle deck coming out. She does beautiful work, and she has beautiful insight into her cards. So check her out if you're interested. So please like, please subscribe, please share these videos so I can help this channel grow, just so I can help spread these messages. You know, maybe the message for you today might be, I've never heard of MJ Cullinane, but I love that deck and I'm going to check her out. And hopefully that will bring your attention to some of her beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. And it's definitely worth it. So thank you so much for visiting today. My name is Stacy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for visiting Simply Liminal with me.